Hello everybody, my name's Steve, I'm the British Railroader and welcome to my model railroad room for an update on Brooklyn Park. So first things first, I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope that you had a good festive season and that Santa brought you lots of presents and you didn't get too hungover on New Year's Day. I certainly didn't. I'm way past that. Today I'm just going to do an update on Brooklyn Park. And then afterwards, I've decided that I'm just going to give you a little preview of some of the stuff that's going to be coming this year to the channel. It's going to be quite an exciting year for various reasons. So please hang on to the latter part of the video. Not that I just want the watch time hours, but there's some things that I want to announce that are going to be happening, hopefully, all being well in 2025. And also at the end, there's just a little bit of news about the channel. Something a little bit exciting for me, but I will explain that at the end. Okay, moving over to Brooklyn Park. Now, I haven't done a lot to Brooklyn Park, and I say that every time I do an update at the moment. As you may have noticed from the videos that I've made, I've had lots of bits and pieces going on, lots of new things coming in, things like my TT120, etc. But there is some movement on the layout, and I just want to explain to you what some of it is. So the first thing is this section here. My friend Roger, who owns Flair Rail, and I will put his website address just here, has got a restock of the Walther's Cornerstone Merchants Row number 4, I think it is, which is what I've been waiting for to fit in here. So that means that I will finish this building, which I started about 28 years ago. I'll finish that building and then have the other 3 buildings, and that will fill up this section. The other thing that I have been doing is starting to look at the scenics again, because there's a lot of bits of scenery that need to be filled in. And one of the problems that I've had is in relation to grass. Now with grass, I've used static grass, just using a static grass applicator. And one thing that I've found with static grass applicators is you almost feel like you don't have the control, because it's quite random. You're shaking it over a large area. And I often mention Boomer dioramas. Now, Boomer is a great believer in using static grass, but not in the way that most people would use it. He uses what he calls the pinch and stab method. Now, I have done that, tried it out in this little corner here, and I'll make sure that you get some more exploded photographs, because you can't really see that corner here on the video. And I found it really, really easy. I use 6mm grass. I've got 2 colors. I've got a darker summer grass and a lighter autumn grass. And then I just used, it's called tacky glue, but it's just some PVA. And I basically did what Boomer does, and it works. I know it works because I've seen him do it, but I've never tried it, and now I've tried it, and now I'm a convert. The good thing is I haven't got any huge areas to do, but there's loads of bits and places that I want to put tufts in, but the ready-made tufts are never the right size or the right shape. And there's lots of odds and sods of places, especially behind the buildings, which I know you're not going to see just by looking, but I want to make sure that they've got that kind of detail there. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm putting a link to Boomer's last video about his pinch and stab method, so you can take a look at what he does. It is dead easy, and you get good results, and you don't get the wastage that you get when you use an applicator. With an applicator, when you shake it over, it spreads everywhere, and yes, you can hoover it up, but you seem to waste a lot. Whereas this is very targeted. I haven't, when I ran the Hoover, my little Hoover over that section, I didn't get any stuff come up. So I'm really, really pleased with that. So that's the scenic work. Now I just want to talk about my rolling stock. One of the things about modeling an overseas prototype is that you are sometimes limited in what you can buy in your own country. So over here, American models are available. There are people that sell them, and there's lots and lots on the second-hand market. So through eBay, through a lot of the big sellers that have their own second-hand stuff, there is lots of stuff out there. But one of the problems that we have, especially when you first get into this, is you tend to buy stuff just because it's American. And it's not necessarily the right thing for your layout. Now, my layout is set anywhere between between the year 2000 and the year 2025. So that's quite a wide period of time. But there are certain things that are a given in that time period. So one of them is that locos have ditch lights. And as you know, I like to fit ditch lights to any locos that don't have them, as long as it's prototypical, obviously. But another thing is that, and I'll illustrate this through some photos that I'm going to put up, is that modern freight cars, as well as having their livery and whatever and being weathered, they have high-vis stripes on them, so that when they go past crossings, they are just that little bit easier to see, especially if there's headlights hitting them. Same goes for the locomotives, which tend to have additional highlighted stripes on the running plate. Now, a lot of the wagons that I've got haven't got these, and so I'm slowly trying to increase the amount that I have got. It does mean that for a while I'm going to be running some wagons that you wouldn't see in Brooklyn. Probably the most obvious are the grain hoppers that I've got. I've got two GNBC, which is Farm Rail from Oklahoma, grain wagons. They are beautiful models. They're from Intermountain. I've weathered them up. You wouldn't see them really outside of the Farm Rail system. They don't tend to travel. They tend to be internal user, but they're the most modern grain wagons that I've got, and they have got the prerequisite high-vis stripes. So slowly I'm going to change over. As I'm able to find rolling stock with the bits on, I'm going to change it over. You can buy transfers that you can put on that have the high-vis stripes. And again, if I'm able to get those, I will, and I will start applying them to the models. Okay, so that's it for this part of the update. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what's happening in 2025. Right, I've got my notepad for this one because I've got quite a few things that are happening. And probably the biggest one is this year I am going to America. I've mentioned it a few times, but in the first couple of weeks of April this year, I will be in the USA. So from the 8th to the 12th of April, I'm going to be in the Pittsburgh area, staying with my dear friend Andy. Andy has put together one hell of a lot of things for us to do. We're going to look at the Pittsburgh Light Railway. We're going to go and see the Union Railroad. There's lots. It's quite a packed. It's going to be quite a packed agenda. I don't know when I'm going to sleep, but there we go. I have got an Amtrak train ride there, between New York and there and back. Anyway, after that, as I said, I'm heading back to New York on the train, on Amtrak, on the Pennsylvanian. And from the 13th to the 18th, I will be in New York City. More specifically, I am going to be in Brooklyn. I've always wanted to stay in Brooklyn. I've stayed in Manhattan before, but I think I want to explore different parts of New York. While I'm in New York, I will, of course, be riding on the Long Island Railroad. But there are other things that I want to do. I want to do a little trip over to New Jersey Transit, visit Hoboken Terminal. I want to catch a train out of Grand Central up on Metro North. And I'd quite like to go over to Staten Island and have a little ride on the Staten Island Railway. Whilst I'm there, I'm obviously going to pop down to Train World's retail store, which is Trainland, which is in Limbrook, I believe, and I will spend some very hard-earned cash down there without Mrs. British Railroader knowing exactly what I'm spending. Anyway, so there will be lots of videos, lots of prototype videos coming and around April time, so watch out for those. Also, on the back of my Merseyrail video that I did a few weeks back before Christmas, I will be going up to Liverpool again. I've got a couple of videos in mind. One of them is to do with a very old railway station, but keep an eye out for that. I'm going to be in the next few years going backwards and forwards to Liverpool for various reasons, so that you might find a few more videos creeping in there. And actually, I think that the railways around Liverpool are really interesting and there's lots to see. So keep an eye out for those. My next project, which is a side project to Brooklyn Park and will not in any way, shape or form be taking over from it, is going to be around TT120. So I've got my Class 66, I fitted the sound, etc. Very, very happy with it, but it needs something to run on. And it will need some rolling stock to run with. And also I'm looking towards the future because Hornby have intimated that there is other stuff that they're going to be introducing in this scale. And there are certain locomotives which, if they bring them out, I'd quite like to have them. So I'm going to produce or build a small layout where I can run these locos and perhaps put a little bit of rolling stock. As you know, I've got a Pullman car. Randomly, I like Pullman cars. So, you know, I want to be able to do something with them. The layout's not going to be very big at all. That's the good thing about TT120 is that it doesn't take up much room. But the thing it has over N scale is that it's not so small that you can't see what you're doing. And when you're getting on in life, like I am, the old eyesight is not as good as it used to be. Anyway, when I get started on that, I will be making some videos around the TT120. Just as an aside, because of the TT120, I thought it would be interesting also to have a little look at some of the different scales that are out there. I know that some American friends are a little bit confused by, well, what's the difference between 00 scale and HO scale? And so I'll be doing a video probably in the near future, just describing the differences and looking at why we've got over here in the UK a kind of non-standard scale. It's something that really annoys me, but there you go, it's what we have. And lastly, well, it's not going to be lastly because there's going to be loads of stuff that happens in 2025, but the last thing that I've got on my initial plan is a video about the BR Class 66. Even though it was never introduced under British Rail, we still think of all of these as BR classes. And the reason I want to do this video is I did a video at Christmas time about the EMD F40PH, and so a little bit about its history, etc. And it got me thinking that it was quite a popular video. I mean, I obviously did something right with that one. So I thought maybe it would be nice if I did something similar with the Class 66, because the Class 66, it's an EMD loco. The majority of them were built in the USA. I think the last few were built in Canada. And it's an American loco that runs in the UK, basically. So I thought it'd be nice to do a video about that. So that'll be coming along sometime this year. Maybe not straight away, because I've got to get some more footage together for it. The last thing I want to talk about is the channel. Okay, so the channel has been growing quite fast in the last year. And it's reached a point where YouTube have decided that my figures are enough that I could potentially earn some money out of it. Now, I don't have enough viewed hours in a year for me to be able to earn money from advertising. So guys, please watch to the end of videos. You know, there are plenty of people are watching the videos. You just need to watch for a little bit longer. I'm starting that process now. One thing I won't be doing at this stage is anything to do with memberships. I know that there are a lot of people that produce exclusive content. I don't think my channel's really big enough for that. I don't think there's enough stuff that I can do that would make it worth your while to spend your money to get exclusive content. Maybe one day in the future, if I've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, I wish, I might do that. But it's part. I'm on that kind of journey, and one of the things that I've always said is that I do this for fun. I do enjoy doing this. So actually making money out of it would be a bonus. It's not something that it's not going to take over my day job, put it this way. But what it will do is help me pay for bits and pieces for my hobby. So at this stage, no changes to the channel. I'm not going to suddenly open a shop where you can buy British Railroad branded stuff, though. If people are really interested, let me know and I'll see what I can sort out. If you want to buy model railway stuff off me, I have got a, I've got an eBay profile, which I will put here if anybody's that interested. I haven't got anything really on there. I think I've got a couple of kits for sale, but it's eBay here in the UK. But that's an aside. But anyway, it's part of a journey. It's one of those things that may or may not take off. It just depends what happens in the next few months. So, every time you watch one of my videos and get the watched hours up, I do really, really appreciate it. And I just appreciate your support through the comments that you make and the likes that you give and all of that kind of thing. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. The more subscribers, the merrier. When you do subscribe and the little bell comes up, click it, press all, and you will be notified of all my videos as they come out. If you have any comments or questions, you can either post them below or you can email me directly on this email address just here. But that's it from me. My name's Steve. I'm the British Railroader. And I'm saying goodbye to you from my model railroad room. Bye-bye.